cargo certificate stories never going away, is it? Show with stories for the day.
You hear diverse voices and opinions.
Husband was a magician, and she was meeting campaign with the husband, knowing that.
You should not put happy because there is nothing to happy about.
Yeah, it's quite pathetic the way the country is going.
We distinguish each story accurately with analysis.
It's Hard Facts with Maryann Okon on 99.3 Nigeria Info.
This is the glass ceiling on Hard Facts.
Hello, Lagos. Welcome to the Glass Ceiling on Hard Facts, 99.3 Nigeria Info. It's 5 minutes gone past the 4 o'clock hour. I am Maryann Okon. I did promise you that we're going to be talking about something that really affects all of us. Yes, the Glass Ceiling is mostly about women issues, but the statistics I've seen over time also shows that men have fallen victim of this nudes, and they call it sextortion. You know, they use your pictures or videos to try to extort you, or sometimes they just put it online, you know, a lover who's angry at you because, you know, whatever it is, they now decide that, okay, those things you sent to me when you felt that you were in love with me, I'm going to use it against you. But first, we're going to start with our girls, because I've got damning statistics about how many children have been have had their videos or their pictures sent or posted without their consent. I'll give you the statistics right now before I go to introducing my guest and letting you understand why I'm having this conversation. 1 in 6 children, that's 17% of our children, have had their image shared without their consent. 14% were bullied or harassed, while a further 14% were pressured or threatened to send more images. This is why we're having this conversation. And my guest is my very good friend, my childhood friend. We used to live next door to each other when we were kids. She is an educator. She is the founder of RaisingGirls.ng. She talks a lot about how to raise your girl children. It doesn't mean that we can't raise boys too, but this is her calling. And thank God she's here with us on the Glass Ceiling. I literally had to drag her on the show. Irene Bangwell, thank you so much for joining us. And Happy New Year. I haven't spoken to you this year. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, sis. It's so good to be on the show with you. Always a pleasure to have the most practical conversations with you. Thank you for having me.
Great. My pleasure. I noticed that you were talking about the same thing. It's just like the Holy Spirit puts me and you in sync, you know, because I was thinking about it. I was reading about this and I think I saw a video about it. And then I went on Instagram and I saw you talking about it, that why do girls send nudes? And I was like, oh, Jesus. But it's interesting to ask that question, really. Why do girls, let's start with our girl children, why do we send nudes? What is it about? What's that thing that pushes you to say, oh, let me take a picture of my naked body and send it to someone?
So I think that I'm very happy that you invited me to have this conversation. I like the way you opened the show when you said this is something that can happen to anyone. Mm-hmm. It's affecting every single one of us. And one of the things I know is that once there's an issue, the moment we can sit down and think about it, clarity comes and everything. So when it comes to girls and sharing nudes, it's a lot of things. It's a broad range of things. But I'm going to start with the most obvious things and then to the least obvious things. So the first thing that comes to mind is that girls share nudes with people that either they're in a relationship with or they hope they can woo to a relationship. So if they're in a relationship, they want to share pictures of their body because the perception usually is the way I give him the opportunity to admire me. You know, he's saying how beautiful I am. And every time I talk with girls, I find that they think that because they're in a relationship, it's a given. Something that you do when you're in a relationship. Some people do it and it doesn't become complicated. So again, why not? So nobody knows when it's going to become a problem. So the first thing is I'm in a relationship, and in this relationship, I feel like this is a given. I also feel like this is something that you do for the relationship to progress in some sort of way. So they share their nudes because of that. But then even in the relationship, we find that some girls share their nudes because they have a trust in the person they share it with. Or they're being coerced to share. They're being coerced to share it with someone that they're in a relationship with. So let me put it this way. They're in a relationship, so they trust this person that, first and foremost, I'm trying to impress him. But secondly, I send it, it shows our relationship goes to the next level. And I trust that he will manage it well. And so when I used to talk to teenage girls and I say, look, you kind of have a one narrow way of thinking about how nudes get out there. You think he needs to post it for it to go out. No, he doesn't need to post it for it to go out. Someone can steal his phone, his friend can run through his phone, push it to his own device, and before you know it, out there. So there's a trust thing. But see, the one that is very less obvious is the fact that when young people get on social media, there's an intense pressure to show off. Girls are sharing nudes with people they are not in a relationship with.
Wow.
They're sharing nudes and putting it online for likes, for views, for influencer status, to drive traffic, to commercialize something, to show that they can be celebrities as well. So that's the other one that is coming out of this. And then we're also seeing girls that are coerced into sharing nudes in relationships because they think that is what will make him stay. So the guy says something like, if you want me to not pay attention to the other girl, share your nudes.
Wow. Okay.
And so you see, yes, there's that part of you're not serious. If you don't do this, we're not in this.
Yeah.
And so you see the validation. And so these are just a few of, if we, with every girl, there's a peculiarity and there's a difference in their context. And so this is like broad range of different things. There are some kids that are sharing their nudes to shame their parents.
Oh my God. No, what?
Yes, you're not making time for me. You want to be a public figure. This is the way I know to get back at you.
Well, God
This
forbid,
is something
God
that-
forbid that I try to get my father's attention like this. Hey.
Yes. So again, with each child or young person you sit with, the peculiarities are, it reflects where they're coming from, the situations, their self-perception, the environment they're in, the pressure they're being exposed to, what is enabling, triggering it, whatever it is. So with each person, the case is unique.
Wow.
But these are the foundational things to look at if we want to get these young people help.
Just as you said, people perceive love differently. For them is giving you my body. For some other people is showing you how I look. So, I mean, for some people, it starts in different ways. What are you wearing tonight? What are you wearing today? Show me. Sometimes they don't go directly to ask for the nudes. And so they gradually get you to a comfort level where they can extort it from you. How can you tell that you're being manipulated to send a picture or a video of yourself?
So that question would have been a straightforward answer, except that for a young person who doesn't have self-worth and values, the benchmark does not exist. So for a young person that has strong values, the moment somebody starts to ask you to do something you're not comfortable with, you know that's it. And it starts with the little thing. And the person is trying to make you comfortable. But now that would be a sign for you, if you have enough self-worth, to know what you don't want, to know what makes you uncomfortable. So now if a young person doesn't have a value system, doesn't have a sense of self-worth, it doesn't even occur to them that they should be uncomfortable with that ask. You get the idea? So when we're talking about building values in children and young people, this is where we're coming from. Because when they have values, you will now have your own personal boundaries, whether it's direct or indirect. You start to feel like, but I'm not comfortable with this. However, the girls who have values know that they're not comfortable with something, and they still think that, well, maybe I'm being too uptight. Maybe I need to just relax. Maybe he's not that tense. I think he's a great guy. There's that debate for the ones that have values, let alone the ones that don't. So the moment someone starts to ask you, now if we're talking to a faith audience, I always put this uniform benchmark. If God won't be pleased with it, you shouldn't be. So maybe I don't know much about this thing, but I have a funny feeling that this won't please God. If I have to hide it from my parents, if I have to hide this from adults, if it's something I don't ever want anyone to hear, then I don't know if you understand. So once somebody starts to ask little things that that if I dared told my mom that this person asked me to do this, it's going to be a problem. It starts to be a red flag for you to say, I'm not going to make a decision now until I talk to someone I trust, someone older, to say, it's really okay before. So the values, and then helping the girls know that once somebody's trying to test it, stop feeling that you're uptight. Just know right in that moment something is off.
before we go to the grown women like us, let's talk more about our kids, because we're in a generation where these kids are so exposed to things that you and I had no idea. We were not, in fact, we were all playing with sand, cooking soup. I remember very well. But these kids at 2 know how to handle an iPad. They know what to press on your phone to find cocoa melon. How do you even begin to appeal to the consciousness or the consciences of these youngsters who think that you are so old school, that you know nothing about life as they do, because they live in the new age and they're so there's this street lingo they use now. They're so woke and you're not. Yes. How do you begin to deal with that? Because I'm not going to lie, I say this all the time. One of my biggest fears in this life is having a kid and not knowing how to deal with them because of today's world and all of the things that they're exposed to.
So, Mimi, so let me tell you, that's actually the easiest part. Kids are living in the world that parents create for them. So my first child is going to be 13 in May.
Wow.
She doesn't have it for herself, but we are having epic fun. So the real question is that we're introducing devices too early, and we're leaving devices in the hands of children for too long. And the parents handing devices to children are not tech savvy at all. So let me give you an example. Kids are being exposed because they are handling devices that have their parents' email probably signed into it. You know, every device has that Google thing. Google is the king of the internet. So any device you use, you have to do Play Store, sign up into your account. And the moment a parent buys a device and logs in their own email into that device on the internet is automatically designed for an adult. So if your child is playing a game, there will be ads intended for an adult that will pop up for your child. If it gets on YouTube, they will see things that are not intended for them. So what should parents do? Because before we get to the exposure part, we can start with saying, how do we give our children devices to use safely? And safely means we're not introducing it too early. Second means we're dedicating devices for children's use. That means even if my devices were shut down, I can't send an email on my child's device. I can't log in my social media on my child's device. And my child device has to be set up to the account of a child. And there are apps that use them. They will even regulate what your child sees. Like if your child went on Google and typed sex, it will pop up and say, that is not intended for you. So the people that manufactured these things wanted to be in business. They didn't design it to destroy children. Well, Satan can capitalize on the gaps, parents' lack of skill, and just ruin things. So let's say you have this device. There's a way you can schedule how long your child needs to be online. But the most important part is the conversations that we have. So many parents are away from their children's life that children think that the entire world is a device. There are so many fun things that parents can do to keep children engaged, spending time with them. So let me give you an idea. The holiday is starting, and 2 days ago, I took my children to buy wool for knitting. The holiday is going to be interesting. So we bought wool, we bought coloring paper and pencils to do drawing. You draw, I snap, I admire. There's so many other things we can do with kids. So if you're going to hand over a device to a child, you have to regulate when the child starts to use it, what kind of device they use, what restrictions are there. And then, because I find that these things we want our children to understand that wokeness can be the most lame thing in many cases, comes from conversations, sis. It doesn't come from ultimatum. It doesn't come from instructions. It comes from conversations. My daughter and I about sharing nudes, and we've talked about what makes girls do that. We've talked about when you're dating someone or you like someone, there can be intense pressure to impress them. So now I'm talking to her in a non-judgmental manner, which is not, don't do this, you put me to shame, to what makes people do this. How do you know that you're being groomed to do this? What do you do when you're surrounded by people who are comfortable doing this? So those conversations, not, the African parents' mindset is, I'm going to give ultimatum. If you try this, I kill you.
Before I open my eye and close, you've left that place.
And that's what shapes values. See, if I want you to buy product from me, I talk with you. You tell me your perspective. You tell me your expectations. And I show you how that product is a fit. So if we want to shape children's values, we need to have time for conversations. And those conversations are non-judgmental, where we are focusing on picking our children's belief systems. Let me give you this instance. When Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala won the election, one of my friends, a single mom, she was so excited, so she turned to her daughter and said, "Mommy," and told her daughter, said, "Princess, can you imagine that Ngozi's nudes had ever gone viral? They would have used it against her and she would not win that election." And the girl turned to her and said, even if her nudes were out there, her potential is bigger than being judged by that action. We parent out to our children's belief system. So that gave her the opportunity for a real conversation. Tell me about potential, tell me about nudes. Leadership position requires that you're someone that can make sound judgment.
Yes.
Sharing your nudes contradicts that. Sharing your nudes means you don't think through your decisions. Now, if you don't have that conversation, the woke child thinks about it on a very shallow level, which is you're still a great person even if you did that. So now it gives you to talk to the fact that, oh, let's talk about it. So what does WTO require? Look at the number of countries she's regulating, trade here, trade there, negotiations. There are going to be people bullying her. The question is, will she act under pressure? What will she do when she's under pressure? Will she be able to think through her decisions? What kind of judgment? So it's not, you dare not try it and shame me. That this kind of matter is heart to heart. So, Princess, you don't think it's a big deal? Yeah, what of Kim Kardashian? Her mixtape came out and that was what blew her up.
Oh, God.
You know, they're young think that way. And so you say, well, if that happened to Kim, tell me someone else it happened to. And let's talk about success. So what is success? If you think Kim did this and success and she became successful, let's articulate success. Because you can sit down and things can be glamorous, but you say, well, that's not success to me. At that point, you're parenting the heart and the persuasion of your child on these matters. So it's not the ultimate that we are doing as African parents. We're in a war zone, and this war zone is talk, is negotiation, is you share their perspective, you share yours, and so it means that more and more parents need to be listening to radio shows like this, reading, taking classes, widening their perspective to have nice, clean, effective conversations with their kids without feeling that the child is respecting them.
I have 2 minutes.
Do you get the idea?
Yeah, I have 2 minutes before we go on a quick break. In those 2 minutes, as grown women, I remember somebody called this station and talked about a man who she was in love with because she got to a point in her life where she thought she needed to be in a relationship, and then she got into the relationship, but then the man used a video that she sent to him to try to blackmail her. What should we be doing as grown women? What's that one thing that we need to know first as grown women when we get into a relationship with men? Whether they look as good as, I don't know, Anthony Joshua, or they are like the worst musician ever. What should be the first thing that should be in the back of our minds when we get into those relationships?
I cannot need it more than he needs it. I cannot need the relationship more than the man needs the relationship. I cannot need it to work more than the man needs it to work. I always tell I have this group of girls I spoke to last month during the Valentine, young women rather, and I told them, get into every relationship with the mindset that it won't work. Picture when it wouldn't work and what your worst day with this person would look like. And every day know that in that relationship, you're giving them a missile or you're disarming them. So have the relationship with the perspective that one day this person is going to take a walk. And when that, I want them to have little or nothing. But when you're too needy that it needs to work, you're not able to see beyond the possibility that it can be over. It can help us more self-preserving decisions.
I love this. But when we come back, the phone lines will be open. Irene Bangwell is here with us in the studio. And every time I have her in the studio, my God. We'll be right back after this break, Lagos. It's still the Glass Ceiling, 99.3 Nigeria Info. I'm Maryann Okon. Stay with us.
This is the Glass Ceiling on Hard Facts.
Introducing the essence of true authenticity in fragrance. Wazobia Perfume, the correct scent. A unique blend that captivates the authentic spirit of Nigeria, now available in both perfume and body spray. Designed for everyone, yes, you heard it right. Wazobia is a unisex fragrance perfect for both men and women. Its rich and versatile aroma is a statement of inclusivity and unity. Unleash your confidence with every spray. Are you a retailer or do you love to buy in bulk? We've got you covered across Nigeria. Wazobia Perfume comes in cartons of 24 bottles and the body spray is available in cartons of 48. Interested in making Wazobia Perfume a part of your collection or store? For carton purchases, contact us at email contact@wazobiacosmetics.ng. That is in capital letters, contact@wazobiacosmetics.ng, or call us on 0809 597 5981. 0809 597 5981. Our team is ready to assist you with your orders. Wazobia Perfume, the correct scent. Your new signature fragrance is just a call or a click away. Authentic, unisex, confidence. Wazobia.
This is an infomercial.
Talk, news, and sports after this.
Ramadan, the holy month, is here. A time for spiritual reflection, a period of self-improvement, an opportunity for complete devotion and worship. Nigeria Info brings you The Light, a daily program that features teachings of Islam, answers to questions about certain practices in the religion, and loads of giveaways. The Light, sponsored by Lotus Bank and Maggie on Nigeria Info, comes up daily at 4 a.m. in the month of Ramadan. For sponsorship and gift donation, please call 0805 581 5844. That is 0805 581 5844. Or send an email to info@nigeriainfo.fm. The Light, brought to you by Lotus Bank and Maggie. Ramadan Mubarak.
Some call it a disorder, a disability. Having a skin with two distinct colors may seem to others like the end of the world. Not me! I'm a babe, a speck, a 10 out of 10. The unstoppable, the beautiful with lush hair.
Lush hair. Be beautiful.
Start your children's day with a great taste of Ovaltine, enriched with multi-nourishment, calcium, malt, and vitamin B12 to support learning and playtime. Ovaltine, smart choice for smart kids.
On this side, we are in to win it. We pass, dribble, tackle, and shoot to win.
Let's get ready to rumble.
We block, kick, and punch to win. We turn left, we turn right, we go fast to win. And just like Miguel, when we shoot our shot, every shot is a winning shot. Join Miguel Obi on the winning side with BetWinner and get paid for the love of the game. With BetWinner, you get to enjoy great odds, fast payouts, and lots of sports like football, basketball, boxing, golf, Formula One, and many more with as low as 30 naira. What are you waiting for? Come over to the winning side and enjoy a sign-up bonus. Visit www.betwinner.ng or download the BetWinner app from the App Store. Gamble responsibly. Not open to people under 18.
So creamy, so good.
Aisha, why do you have so many tins and sachets of cowbell?
Oh, it's what I plan to share this Ramadan.
My sister, you can start by sharing some with me now.
Oh yeah, take. It's Ramadan after all. In this holy month, share the nourishing goodness of cowbell with friends and family. It contains vitamin B9, Vitarich, and it's so creamy, so good. Ramadan Kareem.
Cowbell of creamy goodness.
My son, help me check this phone. I don't know wetin Junior press. He no dey work again.
Make I see. Ah, mommy.
Wetin happen?
They don't block your line now.
Nobody like to chop blocking, no. So, if they don't block you unto say you not link your NIN to your Airtel line, run kitty go any Airtel shop with your NIN to unblock your line today.
Airtel, a reason to imagine.
Hey there! Ready to break free from the old ways of doing business? Especially when it comes to paying for things internationally. Get ready to elevate your game with the Virtual Business Debit Card. No more headaches from conversion fees and spending limits. Virtual gives you the freedom to transact globally, all from the palm of your hands. Imagine effortlessly paying suppliers worldwide on time, every time with just a tap on your phone. And the best part? With Virtual, you can pay in multiple currencies, including USD, pounds, and euro, without ever leaving your desk. Ready to take your business to new heights? Download the Virtual Pay app now. Don't miss out. Empower your business today with Virtual. Download the Virtual Pay app now. T's and C's apply.
In Nigeria, the weather can change in an instant, just like life itself. Even when you are caught in a heavy downpour or harmattan has left your skin dry, there's one thing that never changes: the restoring power of Vaseline Petroleum Jelly. Because we all know when harmattan strikes, if you are not protecting your skin, it cracks. So do your lips, and no one wants that. So, use Vaseline Petroleum Jelly to keep your skin healthy, smooth, moisturized, and protected all day long, so you can embrace every season with confidence.
Every morning, na better chance to carry your hustle go higher level. So, make you start your day with the correct taste of Nescafe. Start strong, finish strong. Nescafe.
Happy Ramadan Kareem. The holy month of Ramadan has brought lots of blessings, and it's time for you to enjoy while your dream of owning a landed property comes to reality. With Adro Ramadan Peace Offer, you will enjoy 30 to 40% discount on any land purchase this season, with as low as 50,000 naira to 1 million naira initial deposit, and spread the balance between 24 to 36 months. You will also get gift items like bag of rice, gas cooker, refrigerator, shopping voucher for food hamper, and many more. Terms and conditions apply. Our estate locations are Lagos, Ogun, Oyo, Osun, Ekiti, Abuja, Nasarawa, Niger, and Jos. For more inquiries, please call
080-3466-7286 or 080-6542-4629.
Adron Homes.
Building cities, communities, and homes.
Nurse, please, what is happening to my daughter?
Baba, the fever and difficulty in swallowing your daughter is experiencing is a result of a tetanus infection from this wound she has here. Tetanus is a serious condition.
But it was just a small wound, though. Hey, look at my Janet now. I don't want to lose my daughter. She's just 11 years old.
It is a good thing you brought her early. But all these could have been avoided with the tetanus vaccine.
But she had all her vaccines as a baby.
No, children and adults also need to get booster doses too. Boosters help you maintain immunity against diseases that can become serious or life-threatening. They offer prolonged protective immunity.
They told me, but I did not listen. I go to follow Uno Road.
Children and adults need to get booster vaccines for diseases like tetanus, COVID, polio, measles, and other vaccines for continuous protection. Visit a health facility to get your COVID booster dose or call 7722 for more information.
It's Ramadan. Come on board. Let's go on a tour to the top restaurants where you can enjoy the best of the season. First stop is Charity Cafe. Here, the currency is sharing, so keep giving. Next stop is Kindness Bistro. Be the kindest you can be. Last but not the least, make a stop by at Forgiveness Drive-Thru and let go of every beef. And at Sahur and Iftar, bring it home with the goodness of great tasting meals with Noor.
This Ramadan, don't just eat for good. Share the good and be the good. Noor, eat for good.
In our society, men are often seen as providers, posing challenges for women in wealth building. In Africa, over 50% of businesses are led by women, yet they receive less than 5% of available funding. Join host Abosede George Ogan as we discuss Show Me the Money with our guests, Ms. Tokumbo Ishmael, the co-founder and managing director of Alethea Capital, and Ms. Rolake Akinkunwe, the chief commercial official of Mixter Africa. We'll explore financial challenges, gender gaps, and how women can excel in leadership positions. Tune in on Sunday at 6:30 p.m. on Channels Television, DSTV Channel 420, on GoTV Channel 48, or on YouTube at Will & Global. The Leading Woman Show is supported by the National Endowment for Democracy and Luminate.
The question is not why South Africa. The real question is how you South Africa. How you'll come across 1,000 tongues that all speak in one voice. Welcome. How you can wake up with one foot firmly planted in the Indian Ocean and the other in the Atlantic Ocean. How diamonds and couture are but a stone's throw away from the safari. How your tongue will visit 1 million destinations on one plate. How your feet will sway in djembe, your torso in amapiano, and your mind in bliss. How crystal clear rivers flow in the day and crystal flows in the night. Whoa. We know this because this is how we South Africa every single day. And this is why we invite you to South Africa with us.
Own your moments in South Africa this Easter holiday. Explore new holiday deals at southafrica.net. Come journey with us.
Welcome back to your #1 talk, news, and sports station. This is Nigeria Info.
Nigeria Info.
Lagos, get ready to win big with one play this Easter in the Easter Mega Jackpot happening here on Nigeria Info. So we're always giving you all the deeds, right? It's going to go down on the 29th of March. And you, my dear, who better to stand a chance to win money if not you? Just reason the matter. I'm sure you need money this Easter. But then you can also grab your own share of the 3.5 million naira. 3.5 million naira. Yes, Lagos, I did not mind words. 3.5 million naira in this economy. Oh God, if I were you, I'll grab it with both hands. So the good news is that any ticket bought from the 25th to the 29th of March automatically qualifies you for the Easter Mega Jackpot. So all you have to do is just go to oneplay.ng, pick your station Nigeria Info, play with as little as 500 naira, and in a few seconds your ticket will be in. Or simply dial *347 *880 *3 hash. *347 *880 *3 to play. Remember, the website is oneplay.ng and the code is *347 *880 *3 hash. Remember, Lagos, the more you play, the greater your chances of winning, all right? So whether you play on the website or you dial the code *347 *880 *3 hash, your chances of winning are equal. So if you play, stay close to your phone so that you don't miss the winning call, all right? May your money not pass you by this Easter. Remember, Lagos, to play responsibly, and don't forget to tell a friend to tell a friend.
This is the Glass Ceiling on Hard Facts.
Welcome back. It's still the Glass Ceiling on Hard Facts. Yes. For those of you who need money, There's 3.5 million to be won. Hey, it's not hearsay. We're giving it out on Nigerian Fun. You know what? We want you to have a great Easter, Enjoy it with a jackpot. So if you don't start playing now, you're going to miss out. There's no miracle. It's not going to fall on your lap. No, you're going to have to play. It's 500 naira only. Well, I did still tell you that we're going to be talking about nudes. And my guest, oh my God, she blasted the roof off this conversation. And I saw the phone lines just go green. Well, now it's time for you to call in. If you have questions, you got comments, my guest, Irene Bangwell, is still here with me in the studio. And we're talking about nudes. For the girls, for the ladies, why do you send nudes? So we've established some groundwork here. And of course, I asked a very important question because women will say, well, how can you tell that, how can you make sure that you guard against these things from happening? Because I'm sure that if we were to take a toll of how many of us have sent nudes, I'm sure it's going to be like a lot of us. But somebody is saying, God forbid I bind this in the name of Jesus. It's not me. She's saying period. Okay, but anyway, Irene has said don't want it more than the other person. He needs to want you as much as you want him, and don't be too desperate because Irene, the truth is you can actually, as a human being, you can smell desperation. You can actually tell. And some people don't know that you can smell the desperation, and even if the person didn't want to take advantage of you, I mean, the fact that you're so desperate and it's so obvious, they probably would take you for a ride. But then there are people who could have sworn that they were in love. I mean, I remember over COVID, the statistics that came out for the number of persons who were blackmailed, who were, that's how they call it, sex something. Anyway, sextortion. Yes, sextortion. A lot of people were sextorted. Sometimes people start relationships with people they've never really seen. They're having relationships with avatars and voices, and then they realize that this person is not who they thought they were. And because of that whole, oh, you're there, I'm here, send me something to keep me busy, and they fall into that trap. How can you there are people that you're not going to be able to tell this story tomorrow, because I can hear people, in fact, even when you were talking about the young girls, I can hear people who say, well, not every parent will be as attentive as you. Some of us have to be out there in our shops fending to, put food on the table. Some of us have many children and we're single parents. We don't have the time to share heart to heart with our children or even talk to them. Some of them will tell you that I have a child that I've tried everything and she will not hear anything that I have to say. How do you deal with that?
So, there was a time I used to, I want to be very thoughtful as to how I respond to things like this. And so I'm going to say real truthful way. If you don't have the time to have the conversation, you better have the money for the blackmail.
Hey.
Because it's good.
Hey.
Yes, of course, maybe. So, for instance, I do boot camps for girls. I have a mentoring squad for girls. Now, a parent can go to Mrs. Irene, let her be teaching you small. You have a question, ask her. That could work. But what I'm saying is the knowledge transfer needs to happen. Otherwise, we need blackmail. And the painful part for me, which we don't even pay attention to, is who the girl becomes after the incident. Who does the child become? A couple of years ago, a video of a little girl in a school in Lagos doing stuff in Dubai went viral. And while everyone was getting upset, in my head I was saying, right now, we should be locking up every adult that lives in the house with that child. That child was exposed to something. Someone has done that to that child. Right now, we should have been having people in handcuffs, locking them up. Now, everyone had a thing or two to judge that child. Everyone most people, let me not say everyone, I didn't do a census, right? The question is, who did the child become afterwards? Did she become rebellious where she said, the worst has happened? Nothing else. The worst has already happened, so let's keep going. Could it make her depressed? Could it make her tend to much more self-harm?
To act out, yes.
Yes, do you get the idea? Who did the child become afterwards? Did they become withdrawn? Is drugs now appealing? So there is a part where when I saw the flyer, I wanted to say, When your child shares nudes, you have to focus on the redemption, on recovery from that experience. Otherwise, it will change the trajectory of their lives forever.
Yeah.
So preventive, yes, there's preventive. What we've said prior to now is how do you prevent these things from happening? But in the event that you've had a child who's already done this, it's now time to talk about it is wrong. What she did has consequences, but how do we help her get back on track? How do we find healing for her and upskill her so that she makes future responsible choices? So for us, we've closed the door once it's a mistake, but I'm saying no, that's not it. They fall, we stick with them. We don't stick with them by thinking the phase will pass. We stick with them by upskilling them, by ensuring that their mental health is back in place, or we are there to support them as the journey to healing. But the most important thing is as they heal, we upskill them to be able to make important choices. I have a statement that I believe absolutely, and it determines what I do with raising girls. When people know better, it says, when people know better, they do better. So if I want my girls to make responsible choices, I provide them with the upskilling opportunity, knowledge and skill. We must know that every child, every human is doing the best they can with what they know. You're the one thinking they know more than what they know. What they know, and what they know is what they will use in making decisions. So I'm very passionate about post-scandal recovery. I'm very passionate. Now the scandal has happened, the news is out there. How do we help that child get back on course? Because it is still possible for a child like that to become a human being and be responsible to community, to family, be someone that other young people look up to.
Yeah.
Now we have an experience that we can have to make it work out afterwards.
Well, Lagos, I see that you're itching to get into this conversation. So the phone lines are open 0201 465 7190. You can call me right now. If you're watching us and listening to us from outside of the country, join us via Skype. We're Nigeria Info FM on Skype. You can send me a WhatsApp message if you cannot call, but 0201 465 7190 is the number for you to call. I'd like to read some of your messages. Let me quickly go to WhatsApp because I know a few messages have been dropping. Someone says, when a lady goes into a relationship in the hope that it'll not work, that relationship is said to be at stake. Such people are insecure and would be a threat to a prospective marriage. Both parties are expected to successfully build a relationship until proven otherwise. Irene, Chisco is disagreeing with you with that your idea of going into relationships. Let me read another quick message. Someone says, I'm shocked and surprised at the guest that you're at the guest and the advice she's giving to ladies when they are in a relationship or in marriage. She didn't say marriage, she said going into a relationship. They should picture ahead when the relationship will come to an end. This person says that's a satanic idea. The person says that's why most women will purposely pay another woman money to seduce and sleep with their husband so that she can use it as a weapon to leave the marriage, while other women will purposely push their husbands to the wall so that he can slap her. Okay. And she will use it as a weapon to leave the marriage. If I may ask, this is your advice to women. Does it also apply to men? This is from Peter. And this is also the same question from the other guest. So Irene, over to you. I think we lost that connection with Irene. Irene, are you there? Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Since I was kicked out.
Yeah, but yeah.
I heard the first question, the first thing where the person disagreed with me.
Yes.
But I didn't hear the second one.
So the second person is saying that this thing that you're saying, it looks like this is what women use so that they can push their husbands to the wall to have something to use to get out of the marriage. So he's asking, this advice, is it applicable to men and women?
Okay, the advice. which of the advice? So let me start with the first person.
Because they're saying that idea of going into a relationship with the mindset that it could end. They're saying that that's satanic.
Okay, now when you're married, that's not the context now.
Oh yeah.
When you're married, that's not the context. Your husband will not take your nudes and put it out and be blackmailing you. I don't know if you understand. So we're not talking about marriage. What I'm talking about, and everyone needs to calm down and think about what it is I'm saying. You get into a relationship with someone and you don't give them the power that they can manipulate your life and date you forever by sharing your nudes. So let's say you have a misunderstanding with someone super petty, or a guy that is not passionate about your ambitions, and you did some stuff with him, and he doesn't like, he starts to feel.
Oh dear. Oh, our connection is going in and out. Oh my goodness.
Can you hear me?
Okay, I can hear you now. Yes, go ahead quickly.
Oh, the network needs to work for us.
Go
Can
ahead.
you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
So we need to think this way. We're not talking about marriage. I'm not talking about marriage. I'm talking about relationships. And relationship is where we're getting to know people. What if you date someone that is petty? Let's say you're a female, you have some ambition, and the person starts to feel like you're becoming arrogant. You need to imagine, what's the worst they can do to me? Right? We need to imagine that. What's the worst this person can do to me? If they have my news, are they going to put it out there? Are they going to pull me down? All these people that have pull down mindsets, are they not people date? So get into a relationship and think about your safety. That's the whole point.
Okay.
You're sharing news that the person needs you. It doesn't make sense to me. Love turns sour very quickly.
It actually does. Things can go bad any second. I saw a post from somebody yesterday saying, how do you go from talking every day from good morning to good night and then to absolutely radio silence, like you never knew each other? And that's how some relationships work. It actually does work. Let me take one quick call because we have 2 more minutes before our time is up. Hello. I missed that call. Let me read a message quickly. This one says, my advice, let's see. Okay, let me take a quick call. This call is important. Hello, welcome to Hard Facts.
Oh, good afternoon, Maryann.
Good afternoon.
This is Pastor Ladipo calling from Olegomu.
Go ahead quickly.
Olegomu precisely. Now, I want your guest to re-emphasize something about what she said earlier on, that you don't judge those girls. There is a way you talk to them. There is something I need to pick from what she said.
Okay.
That you don't just judge them, whatever. There is a way you now talk to them.
Yeah.
That thing is very interesting.
Okay. All right. Irene is back with us. She got kicked out again on Zoom. Irene, I have just 1 minute, but the caller is asking that you re-emphasize the part that you don't judge a person after they've experienced a scandal. He's saying re-emphasize the process. What do you do? He's saying you should re-emphasize that aspect where you say don't judge them, but help them, in getting back on their feet. So can you re-emphasize that? I think that's going to be our closing speech.
So yes, I didn't hear the full question, but I guess someone wants to know. I should talk more about what happens after a scandal has been experienced by a child. Is that it?
You said yes. That you said something about not being judgmental. That he wants you to talk more about that.
So the judgmental thing comes from things like, how could you do that? Don't worry about how could you. It has already happened. When we opened the show, I talked about the different things. There are different motivations, insecurity, trust. That's why I said one of the reasons people share news is trust in the person or trust in the relationship. So ask yourself, what made the child do that? What were the motivations, or what were the things that demotivated them into doing that? And let's address those things, because that thing that is at the root of that behavior will reoccur in other ways that may be even more problematic. And right in the moment of that scandal, the child's self-worth has dropped. So every time we talked about judgment, it keeps going. So we must be passionate about supporting them make a recovery. Yes.
Yeah, I wish we had more time, but I have just 30 seconds. I want to say thank you, Irene Bangwell. Always a blast when I have her on the show. Today we've talked about sharing news. Hopefully sometime soon we can come back and talk about us grown women and what we need to do, because even the grown women were having issues. But Irene Bangwell is the founder of raising-girls.ng. So just go and look for raising-girls.ng. Follow her. Just type Irene Bangwell. You'll find her. She does a lot of things. She's an educator. She works with girls, and I'm always happy to have her on the show. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
All right.
Have a beautiful day.
You too.
Bye.
All right. We'll be right back, Lagos, after this break.
My brother, I not fit to find my shares. So it be like say all the money where I put for shares.
99.3 Nigeria Info. We are more than just radio. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Nigeria Info FM. Check us out on Facebook at Nigeria Info 99.3. Follow us on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM and on Instagram at Nigeria Info FM Lagos for live updates as it happens. 99.3 Nigeria Info.